Hello YouTube, long time no see. I've popped on very quickly because I've just finished my most recent, well, I call them smashbooks because I started in the K & Company smashbooks, if anybody remembers those from a few years ago. But I suppose it's a sort of scrapbook / junk journal situation. I make them out of hardback books, picked up from the charity shop. This one I've covered in some fabric that I got as an offcut and added some painted details to the cover to cover up some glue spots that I got while I was sticking it all together. It's filled with a mixture of scrapbook papers and scrap paper. I'll go over that a little bit more as we flip through. I haven't flipped the most recent couple because I had to get into them too quickly, basically. And I've stopped flipping the completed ones since the baby was born because I don't want to put their face on the internet before they're old enough to really consent to that. So we'll just have a quick flip through of this, and then if I've got time, I'll discuss just a little bit some other things that I'm working on, maybe some things that I might share coming up, and if any of those sound like a good time to you, do pop a comment underneath and let me know. So I tend to make my pages just a tiny bit smaller than the book block, so that I've got some space to overlap things, and so that it's easier to make sure that I've cut everything square. We've got end paper is a Taco Bell bag, because I just enjoyed how sort of abstract that print was. Got scrapbook paper, leaflets from old flower deliveries, pin backings, which they weren't supposed to overlap, but they have a little bit. It's just a quirk of the binding method that if you've got things bound in parallel like that, they might get a little bit off centre. Pretty sure this paper was out of a Molly Makes magazine. Oh. Manual for a light fitting, scrapbook paper, greetings card. I just love how sparkly it is. The last few books I've been including a page that's only going to have things stuck on the one side that's just there because I enjoy it. That is a page from a book that I made a previous one of these from. Scrapbook paper, a bit of magazine and a bit of leaflet. If there's an awkward cut there, it's because I had to stick a sticky note over our address. So yep, that's an envelope, and I've left the pockety bit in this side. I think this is from a magazine called Craft Seller, which came out for a few years when I was still working in retail. I don't know where this paper came from. I think it's probably a printable, but it's out of it's a spare sheet out of the wedding album that my friend made for us. This is out of a little pack of planner things from Wilko a couple of years ago. Scrapbook paper. This is out of the back of my 2021 planner. Had some decorative pages in the back. These pages are from the book that this was all made out of, which is a Prosecco cocktail book. I've seen it in charity shops like 3 separate times, so I think there's probably quite a lot of them out there, and it's a good sturdy cover and it's got pretty illustrations, so I wanted to save a few of those. These are screen prints. My husband got me a collage pack from a screen print artist who was obviously clearing out their studio some, so I've got a bunch of stuff by this artist. I will make sure to look up their name and pop that in the description. Final page, I always glue it in on a piece of scrapbook paper, and I've made a sort of origami junky pocket out of the rest of the Taco Bell bag, which is where I keep my photo templates, so I know how much space the pictures I'm using take up. So that is that whole book. I love the colour of this like brocade fabric. I'm quite pleased with how the leaves have turned out on the front, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. There's I think 2 or 3 pages left in my current smashbook, so I will get into it after that. I think while I've got a few minutes still, I will share the outsides of the last few books, because I could talk about where they came from and how long they've taken to fill up. So this one is, I think that's 17 individual leaves in there, which is pretty standard for a book with that sort of size spine. This is the current book. It's a little bit taller, as you can see. This was made from a Women's Weekly Annual, which is just full of short stories. I sent the book block to a friend who makes zines. This one I've added a little dangle on the spine so that I can keep a little keepsake that came home with the baby from nursery. I've painted the cover on this one. It's the first time I've done it, and it hasn't necessarily held up very well. I think probably once it's on the shelf and only being referred to occasionally, that'll be okay, but it is pretty chipped around the edges. This one is 16 pages, I believe. And as I said, we've only got a couple of pages left to fill out in that. And now let's work from the earlier ones. So I think I have flipped on the channel both of the ones previous to this one. This was a gardener's miscellany, so the sort of yellow beigey floral page in the new book came from that. I will do some proper flips of this. You can see I've got a bunch of stuff hanging out. This one I think was probably also a 16-page one, and I'm quite impressed that it's not more like alligator mouth, because there is, you know, lots in it. This one, we've got a few danglies on, so oh wait, I've got out of order, I think. Yeah, never mind. So there's a tag off something that someone gifted to the baby when they were born. There's a little acrylic heart cut out, and some bits off a broken charm that my friend gave me. I've covered the spine a bit with a silk scarf. This was another miscellany. This one about the county of Sussex. It's the sort of thing that people get bought as a gift because someone's just seen it in a bookshop, and then it ends up in a charity shop because it's just like a novelty book. So yeah, Gardener's Miscellany. This one, I've got one that's still on the shelf, was like a bunch of lovely quotes about grandmas. This one was a paper chase scrapbook that I found in a charity shop for like £2 or £3, and I rebound it because I don't really enjoy a ring binding. I need to come back and reinforce that because the back cover is kind of falling off where I've filled it up so much. This one is, I think it's more than 20 pages, and it's really, really full. The stretchy binding was absolutely necessary to kind of keep it going. This one is the longest running. This did nearly 2 years, and that did include all the lockdowns and stuff in 2020, but it also included getting pregnant and the baby arriving. So there's from famine to feast in terms of the amount of stuff we were doing that I wanted to record. That's as opposed to this one, which I was in for about 8 months. And this one, which I didn't write down. I should normally write down how long I was in it, but this is about a year, just under a year in that one. And yeah, about a year was pretty typical until we hit 2020 and things got weird. And then this is the one, this is the previous book. This is much smaller. So I was actually only in it for 2 months, I think. Yeah, 2.5 months. This one was a book of fairy tales that I had, that I've had for a very long time, that just got quite beaten up, basically. So yeah, I will do some flips of finished books, but only up until the point when the baby arrived, because, as I said, I don't want to put their face all over the internet. But I have also, I've been doing Junk Journal January this month, so when I'm finished with that, I think I will do a little flip through and a talk about that. And then I'm toying around with the idea of working my way backwards through those junk journal prompts. Those are the ones shared by Meg Journals here on YouTube. So that's the book I've been working in for that one. That's a junk journal that I made years ago, back when I first discovered junk journals and sort of scrappy bookbinding as a concept. And it's got a lot more pages in than I'm going to need for just 1 month. So I think I will try and work through those prompt lists and try and fill this as much as I can. And then when I've done that, I will do a nice flip of it. So stay tuned. Tell me about the scrapbooky and junk journaly projects that you've got going on at the moment. I'd love to hear all about it. And let me know if there are specific things that you'd like to hear about from me. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.